Hello everybody and welcome back. Thank you as always for joining me on today's video. If you are new to the channel, I hope you enjoyed today's video and want to subscribe. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for all of your amazing support. So today we are going to talk about the new Nissan GTR 50, and it's an absolutely crazy vehicle and I hope you enjoy it. And always remember, you're watching Full Throttle Drive. Now, I feel like before we jump into talking about the new Nissan GTR 50, we should probably pay a little bit of respects to the original Nissan GTR. And if you guys can remember, it debuted in 2008, so the car is a decade old now. It still had the 3.8 liter twin turbo V6, and at that time, it was good for about 485 horsepower. And I can remember that the GTR terrorized all of the cars out there, especially the exotics. It was faster than the Porsche 911 Turbo and the Corvette ZR1, and the craziest part was that it based it under $70,000. I even remember watching videos about the car, and it was incredible because it blew everybody's mind. It blew my mind, that's for sure. Jeremy Clarkson said that the acceleration was blistering and savage at the time. Now, I could give you guys a bunch of facts about how it holds the record for the fastest time around the Nürburgring as a four-seater, or that the GTR's engine is hand-built by top-ranking engineers, but my real point to you guys is that the vehicle was a halo car for Nissan. It upped the ante in terms of what was possible in performance, then it challenged what you should pay for said performance. Now, I feel like by now most of everybody has seen the GTR in person, and they are a big car. They don't look quite as special as, say, a Lamborghini or Ferrari, but there's no denying their fame. They continually have a huge fan following, and much of that is from their incredible and robust platform. Unfortunately, over time, the GTR has lost a bit of its shine. The car now has quite a bit of competition that matches its performance, and the dated interior has seen better days. On top of it, the bargain pricing has ballooned, and the new Nissan GTR costs $100,000, with the Nismo starting at $175,000. So all in all, I really feel like the new Nissan GTRs just aren't quite as special as they used to be. Like I said, back in 2008, 2009, those were incredible times. Seeing what the car was capable at such a great price point and blowing everybody's mind with what it was capable of doing. It was such a fun experience, and again, all of the buzz that surrounded by it. People that owned them were flocked at car meets and car shows because everybody could not get enough of the Nissan GTR. But like I said, I think a little bit of that enjoyment has worn off. So that leads me into what GTR Design is doing for the Nissan brand with the new GTR 50. Now, we don't know all that much in the way of specs for the new Nissan GTR 50, but what we do know is that it will have 710 horsepower, an extra 110 horsepower over the highest ranking Nissan GTR Nismo. And the torque has actually been improved from 481 pound-feet of torque up to 575. The current Nismo does 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds and the quarter mile in 11 seconds flat. So this new GTR 50 is going to be very, very quick. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the new photos for the Nissan GTR 50. One thing though, guys, I do want to note is remember that this is going to be my opinion on the photos, so don't get too wrapped up into that. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and your opinion may not line up exactly with what I have to say. It's kind of like the C8 Corvette. I really like this new platform change, and I like a lot of the renders. I'm not 100% sold on the rear end yet, but a lot of you guys do not like the platform change, or you don't like the current render, so we differ in that. But as you guys are commenting and giving me what you guys think on the new GTR 50, let's keep it fun and clean. So the first thing that we're going to look at is the front of the new GTR 50, and the first thing you're going to absolutely notice is the much larger opening in the front grille area, and that's compared to the original GTRs. You can also see the massive carbon fiber splitter that sits just a little bit below the grille. Now, if you're looking, you can also see that what I think is a little bit more slope to the hood than previous generations, and it does look like they've changed the headlights. However, you guys got to remember that this is just a prototype, so things are subject to change down the road. One thing you also might notice is that they have kept the classic dual air inlets that you can see on the GTR's hood. One thing I do like though is you can see the two-tone color scheme that is like a gunmetal gray over the gold. What do you guys think about this? I like this two-tone color. It does look pretty good in this format. Now we're going to go ahead and move to the side of the vehicle, and what we can see is that they do have some new redesigned wheels, and I think they actually look pretty good. If these are the wheels that come with this car, I think most people will be very, very satisfied. Also may notice that the side vent no longer has the typical angle to it. They've instead switched to some sort of just looks like a vertical setup, but they again have splashed a little bit of that gold to break up the gunmetal coloring. Shockingly though, the side skirts are not overly crazy, nowhere near like the front splitter, and they seem to flow pretty well down the side panels of the vehicle. Overall, in my opinion, I feel like the side of the new GTR 50 is the least changed part of the vehicle. Now, as we move to the back of the car, this is where I feel like they've obviously made the biggest changes, and in my opinion, it looks like if you can think of the large boxy back of a current GTR, it's like they started to chisel it out, like almost like a sculptor would. If you look at the top of the trunk lid and the tail lighting areas, they're almost hollowed out. And they again have that gold reinforced in the whole back of the GTR 50. Now, obviously, we have to absolutely talk about that wing. It is much more aggressive than previous GTRs, and it looks like they've gone with an active aero system. My guess is all that extra downforce will come in handy when a large portion of the 710 horsepower that the car is capable of is sent to the rear wheels. Remember guys, grip is key. Now the lights have definitely changed and they almost have a retro look to them. I don't know what I think about that, but they are paying respects to the original rounded design layout. You also can easily see that they've ditched the typical quad tip exhaust system and instead gone for what looks like more of a traditional dual tip exhaust system. It's not quite as aggressive, but for whatever reason they've chosen that on this GTR 50 setup. Now, as we take a look at the interior, you can absolutely see they've done a bunch of redesigning in the interior. It no longer has that center console LCD screen, and they've done a bunch of upgrades for all of the carbon fiber, and there's a ton of Alcantara in the interior, which I think is much needed. It's a little bit more basic, but I feel like that new center console is going to be really nice. The color scheme has spilled over to the interior as well. You can see lots of the gold around the vents, some of the styling areas. Now you can actually even see all of that incredible carbon fiber and Alcantara even on the steering wheel. I do like that steering wheel, but it has the massive GTR logo on it. I'm kind of shocked it doesn't say GTR 50. I feel like they would want to have their styling cues and the name of the actual vehicle on there, but they've chose just to go with the typical GTR logo. Now, one thing you will notice is if you look at the front gauge cluster, it is like an LCD, but it's got like an old school race car look to it, and I think that's actually really neat. This car is definitely going to be more of a track-based vehicle, so it's pretty neat to see that. I think that's why they've gone with that minimalistic kind of look for the interior. It looks nice, yet it's not overly crazy. Another thing that I do want to note is I cannot find out of all of these pictures anything of the rear seating. So not that it's a very important part of the GTR, but it is one thing to note that maybe this GTR 50 will not have the +2 seating in the rear of the vehicle. Again, that's just speculation, but from the photos that I've seen, nothing has shown them, so there's a good chance that they maybe have rid that for weight reduction savings. So overall, those are my thoughts on the new Nissan GTR 50 and what we can see so far of the vehicle. I do like a lot of the aggressive styling they've done on the front and maybe even the interior of the vehicle, but I'm not 100% sold on the rear of the vehicle. Now, one thing you got to remember is this is a one-off spec. This is not Nissan actually doing this. This is Throttle Designs that is taking the GTR and making it a one-off design for themselves. Now, the name Nissan GTR 50 actually hints at that they are only making 50 of these units, so it is absolutely going to be a collector's item. And that actually leads you into the craziest part of this vehicle, and that is the price. This car is going to cost $1.1 million. To give you just a little bit of perspective on that, you could buy 15 2008 Nissan GTRs and still have a little bit of change left over for modding. It's absolutely nuts. This car is way overvalued, but I do get that it's a collector's car and probably will hold its value over time because it's only a one-off 50 unit build. But guys, what is your guys' thought on it? I love hearing what you guys have to say. I love hearing all of your comments and conversing with you guys, so drop everything in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video and actually enjoy the new GTR 50 look, hit that like button. Subscribe if you have not already. We would love to have you on the channel. And remember to hit that bell notification so you can know when my latest videos arrive. As always, guys, you all take care, and I will see you next video.